Why does bread, pizza, and pasta in Italy specifically not give you the same digestive problems as here in the United States? Anyways, we're going to answer that question and more. The old coot here, coming back at you with another exciting video. I'm just going to do a quick short video and then I'll explain it further in the next video. But the short, quick answer is gluten. Gluten in the United States is basically your enemy. And the reason is because a lot of companies that make pizza, pasta, and bread, restaurateurs, big, huge conglomeration companies, they're trying to save time, right? They're shortcutting the process because time is money. That's basically the short answer. In Italy, when you go to Italy and you buy pasta, you buy bread, you buy pizza, you go to a restaurant, you eat, typically within a couple hours, you're hungry. You can eat an entire 13-inch pizza in Italy and be hungry 2 hours later. And the reason is because their dough, their process of making the dough, at least in the restaurant world in Italy, or the local bakery in Italy, or the local pasta shop in Italy, what they're doing is they're fermenting their dough. So they make it on a Monday, let's say. It goes in the refrigerator all, the rest of Monday, whatever that is, if it's Monday night or whatever, Monday morning. Tuesday, still fermenting, still going. And then Wednesday is when they actually like slice and dice it, serve it up, bake it, cook it, whatever, or sell it to you or whatever the process is. And what's going on is during that 3-day time frame, you're getting bacteria in the dough, which gives it the flavor, right? So every region of Italy has like a different kind of a bacteria that gives it a specific flavor or unique taste. Like the pasta in Sicily is going to taste different than the pasta in, let's say, Tuscany or Rome or Naples or whatever. Same holds true with the pizza and also with, the bread that they make. So anyways, bacteria is helping to flavor the dough. And then what's going on is through the process of fermentation, right? Fermentation is where the natural yeast that's in those regions, right? Depending on which region you go to, the natural yeast is basically attacking all of the sugars that are in that dough, right? That's what gives you get the off gassing, meaning that the fermentation process is going to create air bubbles, which gives the dough its rise and its puff. But the fermentation process also breaks down those things that are in the dough that contribute to all of those digestive problems, right? So that's why when you go to Italy and you eat a pizza, you eat pasta, or you eat bread that's local, right? Locally made, the dough is usually fermented, so it's easier to digest. So you're not going to get the bloating, you're not going to get the digestive issues, you're not going to get any of that stuff. The quickest, shortest shortcut to get that same experience here in the United States is you're going to have to do something like gluten-free, right? Gluten-free pizza dough. This one happens to be from Trader Joe's. The problem is even this process is they're shortcutting the process because they're not using like red berry, winter wheat, right? They're not using like quote unquote wheat flour. What they're doing is they're using this kind of stuff. They're using tapioca flour or almond flour, but to stabilize it, to get it to puff up, they're also using these pyrophosphate, right? Monocalcium phosphate, which could cause other issues. So you really can't win unless you do it yourself. Or another quick hack is if you have a local artisan bakery that's in your neighborhood, or if you have to drive to it or whatever the case may be, try to work out a deal with them. Try to work out a deal with your local artisan bakery and say, hey, listen, I want to buy a pound of your dough every week, right? Or if you think you're going to have pizza like once every 2 weeks, say, hey, every 2 weeks, I'd like to buy a pound of your dough or 2 pounds of your dough or whatever the case may be. Because typically, usually, hopefully, that artisan bakery fermented their dough, right? It went through the process of Monday they made it, Tuesday they fermented it, Wednesday is when they used it. So try to get a deal going with that local artisan bakery to buy their dough so that you can take it home, roll it out, make your own pizza, make your own pasta, make your own bread from that dough. And then if you really want to go nuts and just keep repeating the process over and over again, do it yourself. Get some flour, get some water, mix it up, let it sit out for a few days, let it kind of collect the natural bacteria that's in your neighborhood. Whatever it is, like Los Angeles, yeast or San Diego yeast is going to be different. So, go through the process, ferment your own dough, and just keep it going and going and going. Anyway, stay tuned. I'm going to come back with one more video here explaining it a little bit more. I'm the Old Coot. There are links down below in the description, also in the comment section. But another question that would come up is, what's the difference between gluten-free versus regular dough? Like when you're making a pizza, gluten-free doesn't rise as much. There's not as much puff. There's not as much explosion of those air bubbles or expansion of those air bubbles. So this to me is like eating a cracker with pizza toppings on it, basically, is, my takeaway from it. Whereas like regular dough, you're going to get a nice explosion, a nice expansion of the dough. It's just a different experience. Anyway, stay tuned. I'll be back with another video here shortly.